Okay, so I woke up to some very strange news today that I woke up and had a quick check of IGN to find out that Nintendo have announced that they won't be holding an E3 press conference this year. As you know, E3 is the biggest gaming conference that happens every year in June, and Microsoft, Sony and Nintendo always hold a conference to announce their new kind of consoles, games, everything like that, show trailers, talk about the games. It's kind of the biggest event of the gaming calendar, really. And Nintendo have announced today that they're not going to be holding a press conference. Now that shocked me quite a lot. It says here, I've got it on my phone here, that the Nintendo president Satoru Iwata, I probably said that wrong, said he would like to use this opportunity to talk about this year's E3 because he was speaking at the financial results briefing. So he did want to mention this to get it like in the news. He said we've decided not to host a large-scale presentation targeted at everyone in the international audience where we announce new information as we did in the past. Instead, at the E3 show this year, we are planning to host a few smaller events that are specifically focused on our software lineup for the US market. So it looks like Nintendo will be at E3, but they're not going to be doing a press conference. So all the games that are going to be playable at E3 and everything like that are going to be announced prior to E3. So I'm probably thinking that Nintendo are going to kind of host their own press conference, similar to what Sony did for the announcement of the PS4 and what Microsoft have got coming up in May as well to announce their new console. I'm expecting Nintendo to have a kind of a day where they do their own conference and they announce all these Wii U games and everything, because as you know, the Wii U is in dire need of some big announcements. So that's what I'm kind of expecting, big announcements ready to be playable at E3. So Nintendo will still be at E3, just not giving us any news during the conference. So yeah, that did shock me a bit because I quite I enjoy watching E3 and like awaiting all of the conferences by Nintendo, Sony and Microsoft and everything like that. I thought that the reason we got all those new 3DS game announcements about a week ago is because I thought they were getting those out of the way so they could focus on the Wii U news at E3. So yeah, that has shocked me quite a lot. So what else have we learned here? He says, for example, video game fans are looking for information about games and it seems they are less interested in the sale figures that investors and analysts, on the other hand, attach much greater importance to. So it looks like they're kind of trying to keep the gamers interested by, again, doing what Sony did and doing what Microsoft are doing by kind of hyping up a big event. And it looks like they're kind of doing that because recently, over this past couple of years, they've been doing Nintendo Direct, which is kind of little, every few months or so, it's like a short presentation where they show us new games and everything like that, and they recently did that about a week ago with all the new announcements for the 3DS games, and a couple of months ago they announced the Wind Waker HD coming to the Wii U and a new future Zelda game which is in development. So it looks like they're going to be kind of doing those instead of one big conference at E3, but again, I don't know. I think E3 is going to lose its charm a little bit without Nintendo there, because I do always look forward to watching the PlayStation conference, the Microsoft and the Nintendo, the big three conferences. So now, yeah, it is going to feel a bit different without Nintendo there, and maybe it's, I don't know, maybe Nintendo are really going to be lagging behind now in this console war, because obviously the Wii U, there's no denying that it's had its troubles so far, and it needs these big game announcements. And I think to have them at E3 would have been a much better idea to try and compete with Xbox's new console and more PS4 news, to try and compete with those two with these big game announcements, because we know we're going to be getting Mario Kart, we know we're going to be getting Super Smash Brothers and probably a new 3D Mario game. And they're big games, and they're games that sell a console, they're games that will sell the Wii U, and that will make me buy my Wii U. So I do think they should have saved that for E3 and done their usual press conference, because it's always popular, people always watch it, and they always like to find out everything at E3. So like I said, I'm a bit sceptical that this wasn't a really good decision. I've been reading the comments on that article, and a lot of people are against it as well, saying they don't really know why Nintendo have made this decision. It's going to kind of lessen their chances of keeping up with the PS4 and the new Xbox, because they're not going to be at the biggest game show of the year doing a conference. So we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully, like I said, they do their own conference before E3, so we can just see gameplay at E3 of the games they've already announced. So yeah, I just wanted to do this video just to tell you that my thoughts on the topic and everything like that. So yeah, leave your thoughts down below, and yeah, thank you for watching this video.